As you can see, Dr. Ellen is with us right now. And let's talk about President Trump's new executive order. First of all, at the beginning, let's just mention it is an executive order. It's not the law of the land right now. But it calls for changes in childhood vaccine schedule. Dr. Ellen's here to explain what it means and what, if anything, the parents should do right now. So let's start with the immediate impact. Does this order change anything? Which vaccines in Massachusetts the children can receive today? Or should parents continue following the schedule that's recommended by their pediatrician?
Always follow the schedule that the pediatrician's recommending. No, this doesn't make vaccines disappear in Massachusetts. What the executive order is really saying is, let's shift universal vaccines like the flu vaccine from every kid should get it to shared decision making. But let me just tell you, the bottom line is no child gets a vaccine without parents knowing it. So there's shared decision making even if a vaccine is said to be universal or for high risk or whether it's a shared decision making. So no, we don't have to worry.
Could a child who follows the new federal recommendations but not the full Massachusetts schedule be considered under-vaccinated when they actually go back to school?
I mean, look, when you're talking about if we were to separate the MMR vaccines into individual measles, mumps, and rubella and kids didn't get it because it was too complicated, it could happen. Remember, it's important to know when you get into kindergarten, there are, vaccines that you need to have had. So it's possible, but a reminder, vaccines are basically state-run and state-led, and we live in a state that prioritizes patients' access to vaccines. So again, nothing is going to be changing about that because of the executive order.
You just said something, and you're far more expert in this than I. It's right now the MMR vaccine. In the United States, they're not broken into 3 separate ones. Is that complicated to break them into 3 separate ones?
It doesn't exist right now. The MMR is only a combination vaccine. So to try to split this into other vaccines, it's something that you can't get right now. The major issue is that if you were to break them up into single measles, mumps, rubella vaccines, it's not a problem with the efficacy. The effectiveness would be the same. The issue is that you'd need 3 times the number of visits. Instead of getting all 3 in one visit, you'd have to schedule 3 visits. And what does that lead to? That leads to potential delays in immunity. Any additional visit is a missed opportunity, and ultimately the concern is that there's just will be less population immunity, and we already know that measles is surging in the United States, so I think that that would be going in the wrong direction. You could think of it, why not have more options? But
we're talking about a lot of stuff. Bottom line here is consult your pediatrician.
Great point. I couldn't have said it better.
Perfect. All right, Maria, to you.